Everything on the internet is true.
That's true.
On the internet, it's true.
Okay, Bob
My kids taught me that.
You know, he's been in the Mac world for 25 years. So he's seen it from beginning to end, like a number of us who've been involved in it. So he's been involved in it from a very different point of view, actually writing about it, helping people understand the Mac world, the Apple world. And he has brought a couple books to share with us today, and he has a huge library. If you do go to his site, you will see a link to books that you can order of his. And I know many of us have purchased those books in the past, and I personally have been able to learn a lot from those. So I enjoy a book that speaks to me in a way that I can clearly understand, and that's what his books do. So please support that. You can. Okay. People call him a prolific author. He has written or co-written more than 60 popular computer books.
70 now.
70
I have to update the
You
site.
need to update that website. Sold more than 2 million copies. All right. Worldwide, at least a dozen languages. I'll let him share with us later what his most recent titles are. He's a columnist for the Houston Chronicle. Has been there since 1996. He does the Dr. Mac column every Tuesday. I assume that's available to us online if we want to as well.
Good luck. They just put up a paywall, so if you want to subscribe to the Houston Chronicle, you can read me. If not, I'm working on a syndication deal where the columns will become available on another website a day later, so I should have that together by the summer.
Excellent.
I hope.
The changing world in which we live.
Mac Observer, talking to them about it.
All right. So are you doing still columnist and reviewer for the Mac Observer?
Yep.
Right.
Although it's been a while since I've written anything for them. They're very mellow about my deadlines. It's been about 2 years. Well, I've been really busy.
Well, I'm not going to belabor this any longer because I know that we want to hear the real Dr. Mac today. So please help me in joining Bob LeVitus, Dr. Mac.
Can you see okay?
We're going to fix that.
I'll turn off the lights.
Let's kill some lights. Let's get intimate here. All right, so today's little ditty is called Dr. Mac's Rants and Raves. And in this, I would like to introduce you to a bunch of things that I really like and a couple things that I don't. Then, if we have time, I have a few more things that I like. And I think one more that I hate, but there's like, depending on how time goes, I've got enough material to go for 3 hours. Well, we'll see where we're at when we get to the last slide. So first of all, I like to start by telling you a little about me, although Maggie pretty much told you all this. My name is Bob LeVitus. My nickname is Dr. Mac. The Dr. Mac column since 1996, and that's the longest I've ever had the same paycheck from the same people. I won't call it a job because I don't go to the office, but it's over 15 years now. And I've never, I don't think the longest after that is about a year, maybe 2. I have a real problem with the B word, boss. And so, I think the reason for my longevity at the Houston Chronicle is I've only been there once in 15 years. And I think that's what keeps me endeared to them. They don't really know me, and so we get along great. I've written or co-written over 70 books. Actually, it's exactly 70 today, but it will be 71 pretty soon. The most recent are iPad for Dummies, iPhone for Dummies, Mavericks for Dummies, and Office 2011 for Macs for Dummies. And the most important thing you must know about me is I don't do Windows. What? I don't. I really don't. I don't own a Windows machine. I don't even have Parallels on my laptop. I have no need for it. If ever there comes a time when there's something that only runs on Windows, maybe I'll buy a copy of Parallels. But for the most part, I try to stay away from anything that's made by Microsoft, except their keyboards. Their keyboards are awesome. Well, enough about me. Let's talk about you guys. Who has an iPod? iPhone? iPad? Mac? Other Apple product?
Yeah.
All right, now who has more than 2? More than 3? You're my peeps. You are my peeps. You're just like me. Okay, do you use a Mac?
Yes.
Windows? Oh, you poor people. I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that most of you who raised your hand for that have to use Windows because somebody's making you.
Yes.
Is that correct? I knew it. Because very few people voluntarily use it.
Because Quicken for Windows for Mac stinks.
Yes, but iBank 5 rocks. And I switched finally. I am off my Intuit thing. And that's something I hate. Quicken. So I'm very glad that iBank got their online bill pay straightened out and it works. And now I have no reason to go back to Quicken. I'm perfectly happy.
That good for iBank.
I'm perfectly happy with it though. And here's the thing. Quicken had more things in it, but they're all things I didn't use. It's like I don't need Quicken to manage my stock. I can do that elsewhere, you know. I've got good tools. All I care about is, can I pay bills? Can I see my checking account balance? Can I transfer money between accounts? And iBank lets me do all that and more. And it's got a nice Mac-like user interface, unlike Quicken.
But does iBank automatically download your transactions?
Yes, absolutely. And
That's the only reason I didn't do it.
and I can send bills. Now I can pay bills by just typing the address of the people. It's free. No, it's $40 a year or something. $30 a
Automatic
year.
download was the only reason I didn't buy it.
Automatic download is now working beautifully. I think it costs $40 a year for the one that lets you pay the bills. But you can automatically download your transactions for free if your bank supports OB, whatever it is. OBF, Open Bank Form.
Okay.
So if it worked with Quicken, it'll probably work with iBank.
Reports?
And I've been, the reports are really nice. I'm not sure if they're as comprehensive as Quicken. Quicken, you can really get in there and create reports, but I think they're about equal and prettier. And it has all these nice built-in graphs so you can see how this month compared to the last month. Lots of stuff I don't use also in iBank, but it does the 2 things I need. It manages my checkbook, keeps updating my balance on a regular basis, and lets me pay bills without writing physical checks. You can pay bills by filling them out on screen and pressing send.
And will it import your old transactions?
Yes, it imported my Quicken stuff flawlessly. I imported a year just to see, and it was fine. Then I deleted it and started a new year in iBank. But yeah, it was easy. It took me, I ran them both for about 3 months. Because I was afraid that my bills weren't getting paid, so I ran them parallel. And after 3 months, I haven't used Quicken in probably a month. I expect I'll never have to go back to it except maybe to look at old data or to export old data. But I'm very happy with iBank. I'm going to review it pretty soon. All right, how much RAM? Anybody have less than 4 gigabytes? All right, look around. Those are the people that need RAM upgrades. There's this really great company called Otherworld Computing. They're in Woodstock, Illinois. They have RAM upgrades for every Mac. They're great prices. They come with instructions. 4 gigabytes isn't enough RAM.
What was the name of it?
Oh, last but not least, does Windows suck? What was the name of what?
For the RAM, the company?
Oh, Otherworld Computing. MacSales.com. They are good. I bought RAM from lots of vendors over the years, and they're never more than $1 or $2 more expensive than the cheap guy. But they lifetime guarantee. They'll transship. So if your RAM does go bad, they'll send you a new chip for free before you even send back the old one because they know you want to get back to work. They're really a good company to deal with. I buy a lot of hard disks from them too, and enclosures and all sorts of stuff. All right, before I get to stuff I love, I do want to do a little prelude from the Department of Really Dumb Ideas. I saw this a couple weeks ago. All right, check it out. This I heard about on NPR, and I thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. It's called the O phone. It's not Oprah's phone. No. Although it looks like her logo, kind of. But
Obama's phone.
no, it's not Obama's phone either. You'll notice it's white and red. It's not Obama's phone. Actually, it could be the hotline, but it's not. The O phone is the olfactory phone. Yes, folks. Smell-a-phone. A smell-a-phone. All right? Now, if that's not the dumbest idea you've ever heard, this is it. You know, it's 4 times the size of your iPhone. You want to smell a phone, you got to carry around the tubes of smell. I'm running out to buy one of these. I have to say, I thought you might not believe me. So here's the video of the first smell-a-phone call ever.
Coffee is going to transport across the room via the L-phone.
Oh, I just got a photo from David. He says, here's the world's first olfactive message.
Olfactive message. So,
I got it.
not only did they invent the smell-a-phone, they're inventing words. Here, smell my phone! All right. That's a company that won't be in business in a year. Mark my words. And they are French, right? That might explain it.
There's a bacon app for the iPhone.
Did you see the bacon app this week? There's a bacon app.
Yeah, from Oscar Mayer. And in fact, I enter every day because I want to win it and you can't buy one.
Yeah.
So I'm entering, Oscar Mayer has a device that clips onto your iPhone that works with their app to disperse the smell of bacon. It's a bacon alarm clock, and you can't buy it. You have to win it on their website. So I've been going every day. Bookmark it every morning. I go into the contest. So far, I haven't won one, but that is now smell a phone, stupid. Bacon alarm clock, brilliant. I mean, what's going to get your butt out of bed more than the smell of bacon?
There was a guy that did that on Shark
Coffee,
Tank.
maybe.
The bacon alarm clock.
Well, he got it made by Oscar Mayer. You can't buy one, but you can win it.
Is it kosher?
Is it kosher? Yeah, actually it is. There's no real pig in it. It depends how you kill it. All right, let's get to the stuff I love. So first of all, the first thing I love, lately, I used to spend, and I went back and verified this, but I used to spend a couple $100, $300 a year on music on the iTunes store. I would buy, 10, 20 albums a year. Even today. I mean, I spend a lot more than that at the iTunes store, but it's on apps and books too, and movies. But my music budget was, a few $100 a year. I bought 10, 20 albums most years, year in and year out. And, when I was younger, I bought more music, but I already own all the music I like. So now I'm just buying stuff I might like in the future. But I've got all the Beatles, I got all the Stones, I got the Who, I got Led Zeppelin, I got all the stuff I listen to already I own. But there's lots of music I don't own that I like to listen to. There's all the other stuff, like all the other British invasion bands that I don't own.
You're lucky.
And so, about, I guess, a little over a year ago, I got a service called Spotify. Okay? So Spotify is a music service that you subscribe to. Rather than buying your music, you rent it. And it's $10 a month. And for $10 a month, you have access to over 20 million songs. It's like having a jukebox with 20 million songs available 24/7 on all your devices. So there's a Mac app. This is the Mac app. And if you look, this is just some of the playlists I've made since I've had it. And it's great because it doesn't cost me any more to have as many playlists as I want or as few.
Marcy, 50 playlists.
Pardon me?
No, I was interpreting for the blind lady back there.
Okay.
2 of us.
So there's also an iPhone app. And you'll notice that I have it on the front page, on page 1 of my home screens because I use it all the time. That's all I listen to, really. This is what it looks like on the phone. It's got an attractive interface. It's very easy to find what you want to hear. They have radio stations like iTunes or Pandora, and they ostensibly get better as you tell them what you like and don't like. But most of all, it's a jukebox with 20 million songs. And there's of the music I like to listen to, I've been disappointed very infrequently. I don't think they have any of that. What's that band that was suing everybody? Metallica. I don't think they have any Metallica. But they do now have Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, Pink Floyd, the Rolling Stones, all of the bands that matter to me. And they have a lot of jazz, so I'm not a big jazz aficionado. I don't know that much about it, but I like listening to it, especially when I work. I like instrumental piano jazz, soft jazz. So I don't know what I like, I just like piano, so I told it I like Dave Brubeck, and I've got a station that just plays soft piano jazz all day long, and it's awesome, and doesn't cost me anything extra. Like, all day long, it's playing great songs. If I like a song, I press the thumbs up, it plays more like that, it gets better and better the longer you own it, or the longer you subscribe to it. So for your 10 bucks a month, so now for 120 bucks a year, I have 20 million songs in my library. It's like iTunes Match on steroids. So here, there's just, there. I wanted you to see just how many playlists. That's just like a year's worth. There's a lot more of it. And last but not least, it all syncs between your devices. So you make a playlist on your Mac at home. When you go out and you're driving in the car, it's on your iPhone already. It remembers, it knows. So whatever you do on any of the devices, if you've got an iPad, an iPhone, and a Mac, whatever you do on any is reflected on the other ones automatically without syncing or anything. It just syncs. It just knows. And so I make a playlist at my desk, and when I get in the car, the playlist is in Spotify on my iPhone already. Magic. It's really, if you like to listen to music and you've been spending money buying albums, you might find this more economical. And certainly, I've been listening to a broader range of music because I don't have to buy the Turtles' greatest hits to hear the 2 Turtle songs I'm in the mood for today, and things like that. So I've been just thrilled. Does somebody have a question? Because I have one. Yeah.
Can you download the USB drive?
No, you can't, but you can download to your device. It stores it in its own format, and as long as you pay your bill every month, it stays with you, so you can say, I want this playlist on my device, and that way you don't need a connection. So before you travel, you download some playlists to listen to on the plane. So you don't own the music, you're just renting it. When you stop paying, it disappears. So you can't move it around, you can't share it with friends.
And you need to be connected online.
You need to be connected unless you've told it to download. If you're a subscriber, you can download as many songs as you want based on how much storage you have. So I have about 12 playlists that I did download. Those are the ones I'd listen to on a plane or if I was driving in outer range of cellular. So it really, I've lost nothing except owning, quote, owning the songs. But I have a much bigger library now, and I'm really enjoying being able to listen to whatever pops into my head without having to buy it for 99 cents each time, or buy a whole album.
How's the audio quality?
It's very good. It's probably as good as anything else you're going to get digitally, except maybe uncompressed audio. But it sounds to me like the stuff that's in my iTunes library, which is AAC. Pardon me?
It's like a standard MP3.
I don't even know what format they use. It sounds as good as my 192 AAC stuff that's in my music library. It sounds about equal to that. So whatever they're doing, they're not compressing it terribly. It's not, cheap sounding tinny audio. It sounds as good as most of the tracks that I own.
So this is more of a music discovery service, or can you tell it?
You can tell it exactly. You can say, I want to hear the Beatles, The End, and that's what you'll hear. They're one of 2 that I know of that let you just say, I want to hear this. Most of them, you can say, I like this, and they'll play songs like it.
Yes, like Pandora.
Pandora, right, or Radio, RDO, Radio, and there's another one that's also Discovery. Now, there's a new service called Beats Music. It was created by Dr. Dre and a bunch of music industry executives, and it wants to be better than Spotify. It apparently licensed the same 20 million tracks, because I did an experiment a couple weeks ago. And everything that I could find on one, I could find on the other. And the couple of things I couldn't find on one weren't on the other. So I'm pretty sure they're drawing from the same pool of songs. Now, Beats is $10 a month for one person, same price. But AT&T, it's called Beats Music. It's a service that's competing.
How do you spell that?
B-E-A-T-S. Beats. Also has an iPhone app. They don't have a Mac app, but you can listen through a web browser, and their web browser interface is pretty nice. Now here's the deal. If you have AT&T, Beats is $14.99 for up to 5 people. So on my family plan, where I've got a son and a daughter and a wife and me all on the same AT&T plan, we're each paying $10 a month for Spotify. Everybody in my family likes it so much they pay for it. Well, I pay for my wife. But my kids pay for it out of their own pockets. Now, $10 a month isn't that much, but for a kid to pay $10 a month for something, they gotta like it a lot. So I said, well, if you switch to Beats, I'll pay for it. And you know what they said? No, I'll pay for my own Spotify. I said, why? It's got the same songs. Well, I don't want to recreate my playlist. It's worth $10 a month not to do that. But for those of you who haven't started with one or the other, take a look at Beats. It's got actually, I think, a nicer user interface. It's more fun to explore and find new music on than Spotify. And, you know, it's the new kid on the block. There's no telling where this will all end up. But if you're going to subscribe to one or the other, you should know that if you're an AT&T subscriber, Beats will give you the same 20 million songs for a lot less if you've got 4 or 5 people. Spotify doesn't have a family plan yet, but I would bet if this AT&T thing is as successful as I suspect it's going to be, Spotify will have a family plan by next year. It's called competition. It's a good thing. All right, how many of you know what a GoPro camera is? All right, so a GoPro camera is this ruggedized camera that all the kids use for skateboarding and skiing. They're waterproof, shockproof, they're encased in lucite, and you can throw them down the mountain and they'll keep shooting. They shoot high definition. They shoot high definition video. They have really good image stabilization built in, and they're just the go-to camera. Go-camera. They're the go-to camera for kids these days for anything, you know, any extreme sporting activity. So, I want one. Not because I need one, not because I do any extreme sports, just because I like gadgets. I want a camera I could throw at a wall and not break, and wear in the pool and stuff. You know, and the thing about GoPro cameras is they come with this wide range of mounting hardware. They have mounting hardware that you can stick to the bumper of your car. And they've got one for the inside of the window so you can shoot out the windshield. They've got ones for your helmet, and they've got ones for your belly, and you can wear it on your arm. And you know, they're very small. They're about that big, a little smaller than an iPhone. But here's the thing: I don't like to carry a camera anymore because my iPhone 5S camera is so good. I have a great Canon camera, and I use it when I need interchangeable lenses or depth of field. But mostly I shoot with my phone. And so what I wanted was a GoPro phone. But obviously that's not going to happen. So HitCase Pro is the next best thing. Check this out. It's a special case. It's waterproof, shockproof to 6 feet, 6 foot drop tested, waterproof, dustproof, sandproof, completely sealed. But here's the cool part. On the back is a wide-angle lens that gives you a 170-degree field of view, which is basically everything in front of you. It's like what your eyes can see, whereas your iPhone has like a 70. So your regular lens gives you that, and this gives you that, which when you're shooting action stuff is good, because you can't really point your head where the action is so easily. Or if you're wearing it on your chest, you can point your whole body towards it. It gets very complicated. So if it gets the whole thing, if it gets everything in front of you, you don't have to move. You just stand, you can ski down like this, and you'll get a great view of everything as you're skiing over it. So it uses the same mounting system, which is called rail slide, as GoPro. So if you have a GoPro, you can mount this. It's got a little bracket on the bottom that slides on and locks. That one is for putting it on a tripod stand, but they also have, this one's called the Chester. You wear it on your chest. I was way too embarrassed to let you see me wear it. But I found a picture of a model wearing one. That's what he looked like getting ready to ski down the mountain with his HitCase Pro with an iPhone inside strapped to his chest. This one is called the Sucker. Chester, Sucker. It's got suction cups, so it sticks to the windshield or whatever. And now, this was the first movie I ever shot with it, on the River Jordan in Israel. And I hadn't learned yet that they come out way better if you use the landscape mode because of the wide angle, so I shot it in the vertical mode. But look at how much you see even so. All right? Here we go. So this was all shot with this thing on my chest.
Gentlemen, if you've never seen one before, there it is, a boat full of farkles.
A boat full of farkles. My cousins have red hair,
Alligators.
so we call them the farkles.
Crocodile. Snitch.
So I went in the water, I went on the zip line after that, and the camera was fine, the phone was fine. It was just an amazing thing to be able to take my phone and shoot video. You can even shoot up to 6 feet underwater if there's sufficient light. Chester. So I had it on, and I was in one boat, they were in the other boat. I just kind of looked at them, and that was it. And I would never have gotten, first of all, I'd never have taken my iPhone on a raft without that case. Second of all, I'd have never taken another camera with me on a river. And as it turned out, I fell in the water and it was just fine. You know, I have some cute footage of the boat from the water. You know, a lot of water on the lens, but really cool. I think it's about 129 bucks, and then the options are like 30 and 40 bucks each, which is still a lot less than GoPro's 400 bucks. And the options, you know, the mounting things are about the same. And you can switch between. So if you have a GoPro and the hit case, you can use the same mounting hardware for either one. Pretty nice. And that's one that, you know, I'm trying to show you stuff that you haven't seen everywhere else. You know, I'm trying to show you stuff that you're not going to see in Macworld magazine this month or last month. This is the kind of stuff that requires somebody trained and skilled to unearth. They sent me one and I went, oh, is that cool? And nobody I know has ever heard of it or seen it. They don't do much marketing apparently. Anyway, now you know. HitCase Pro. If you do any kind of active photography, you'll love it.
What length of video can we do with the iPhone 5S?
I think it'll go, does anybody know? I know I've shot like 15 to 20 minute video. If you've got space, I think it'll go to 30 minutes. Might be 60 minutes without turning it off. I've set it on a tripod and let it run to, you know, capture stuff, and it runs. I know I've gotten 20 and 30 minute chunks, so pretty long. I did the river, but I was turning it on and off. You can actually hit the record button right. It's a touch screen, so you turn it on and off. It's a little awkward because you have to pull out the Chester because the lens is out, right? So you have to go underneath and press the button, but not too bad. All right, here's a really cool thing that I have in my car and I take with me when I travel. It's called this. It's got a mouthful. Satichi Universal Smartphone CD Slot Mount. Basically, this is what it is. It's the back part slides into the slot for your CD player in the car, and the front part is a spring-loaded clamp that holds your iPhone in any position. It's on a ball swivel mount, so you can angle it any way you want. And in my car, the CD player is exactly where you would want a touch screen. If I had ordered the nav system in my car, that's where it would go, where the CD player is. So by sticking this in there, my iPhone is then right in the middle of the dash where it would be if it were a navigation screen, which is about right. I've had lots of stuff in my car for an iPhone, and none of it really put it where I wanted it to be without endangering me. All the things I've ever tried that stick to the dashboard fall off at some point. And I have a convertible, so if I'm going around the corner and it falls off, it goes out the window. I'm not about to do that. So this thing is great. It's solid as a rock. There's behind it is the radio, and it just sits there. I can turn it sideways. I can angle it any way I want. Here's another picture in my car. And another.
What is it mounted to?
It goes in the CD slot, and that stabilizes it. And then there's a little lever that locks it in there so it can't be pulled out real easily. And it's just, for one thing, every other thing I've tried bounces a lot because it's attached to your windshield and it's doing this. For some reason, this thing is stable. It doesn't, you know, the phone isn't bouncing in front of me. It's solid as a rock in my dashboard.
How much?
$16. That's what's so cool. I bought $30 and $40 suction cup things that didn't work worth a darn.
How much weight can it support? Because like some of the iPhone cases are like the...
Well, it's spring-loaded. And in fact, you can see in this picture, I'm pulling the spring out. So it'll take, like I had mine in a life-proof case and it didn't have any problem with that. That's, you know, pretty big. And there's room to spare. It's universal. It'll actually hold one of those 5-inch Galaxy phones. Maybe even the 5.5-inch. Because it's spread. It's got a spring. And it just, like the jaws open up, you put your phone in, and they clamp back down.
Can you use your CD player at the same time still?
No.
Who uses
Wait, guys, you can't damage it, no.
You use Spotify.
You use your CD player?
In your car? What's wrong with you?
What's a CD?
He doesn't have
That CD slot is there so that you can put a holder on it. That's what it was designed for.
Obviously.
Right, so there's another picture of it from the side. I'm pulling it out now. I pulled the lever and it's half out, so you can see it just kind of goes right in there, and it's solid. I mean, it's never fallen out. My phone's never fallen out, no matter what angle I put it at. It's just a great thing for the car.
Does it play the music through the car system?
No, you have to have something else for that. This doesn't, I have an FM transmitter also, or an aux jack. It has nothing to do with the audio. It is just a holder, but it's only $16.
Does the CD where to get after you take it out?
I got it online. Satichi is in Houston, it turns out. The company is in Houston, but they don't have a store. Just satichi.com, I guess. Oh! I have a list of all of the items in my speech today. I will give to Maggie before we leave or somebody, and you guys can share it around. But it's got URLs for everything. Yay! I remembered this year. Some years I don't. All right, next up is something called Reflector. This is very cool. I can't demonstrate it here because I'm already using AirPlay, but what it is it's easier to just show you and tell you. Here's my MacBook Pro desktop, right? I'm hanging out, doing something with my iPhone, and I want to show it to you on my iMac screen. Now, if I have a TV, that's easy to do with Apple TV. In fact, that's what I'm doing now. I'm projecting from here to there, wirelessly. And that's well and good, but you can't AirPlay your iPhone onto your Mac. Apple doesn't have that. It's not there. It doesn't exist. But with this app called Reflector that runs on your Mac for $12, here's what it looks like when you connect up. So your iPhone screen pops up on your Mac screen. At home, I have a 30-inch screen on my Mac, so this makes it real easy for somebody sitting with me to see what's on my phone. Much easier than holding the phone up in front of them. Yes, really great for tech support. And for presentations. When I do a class on iPads and I do a class on iPhones, and that's what I use. I use my laptop so I can have a keynote slideshow, then I stop and I use Reflector so I can show them stuff on my iPhone. Don't have to keep pulling plugs and switching back and forth. Don't have to have two projectors, nothing. It's just simple and it works great. And the program that I'm running here is called Mailbox. I love this. This is the mail app I use. The reason I love it is, as you can see, I'm sliding this message this way, okay? And you see a little yellow clock there. And what that's saying is, defer this mail until, and then this is what I see next, and I can say, defer that piece of mail till later today, tomorrow, this evening, this weekend, next week, which is Monday. And it's triage for your mail. It's like if you get a lot of mail, this lets you defer stuff like snooze so that you can get to zero inbox, which for me is important because my inbox is a to-do list. So when it's full, I'm overwhelmed with stuff that needs handling. But a lot of this stuff I can look at and go, that's not important today. I'll do that Monday.
What's the name of the app again?
It's called Mailbox. It runs only on the iPhone and iPad. It's like $3. Now it only works with Gmail accounts right now, but Dropbox bought the company and they've said that they're going to make it work with everything soon. So it's just wonderful because I have a snooze bar on all my mail messages. If I want them to come back tomorrow or tonight, and they just sit in a little bucket until it's time, and then Mailbox magically on its back end somewhere says, okay, release that one again, it's 4 o'clock. It's awesome. Yeah.
Did you mention the cost of Reflector?
Reflector was $12.
Where do you get it from?
Online. You got it. Air Squirrels. That's the name of the company. That's right. It's great. It's just if you use your iPhone and you're always sharing it with your friends. If you don't have an Apple TV and a big screen TV in the room, this is the next best thing because you can put it on any Mac screen. And the last thing it lets you do is, well, here's a movie. You can record what's going on your iPhone or Mac, iPhone or iPad. Record it as a movie and save it on your Mac, which is how I do it. I'm just showing you how I kick these people's butts. See that? I sped it up a little because I didn't think you'd want to watch these people deliberating over whether to check or rate. But the thing is, I'm doing a TV show, and this has become one of my big production tools because I can then play a game like Real Racing, record a race, and it looks great as video. You know, if I show it to you on your TV, you'll go, whoa, that's very realistic. It's photorealistic, it's beautiful. So it's enabling me to capture this stuff directly on my Mac from my iPhone or iPad. I just sit there and play the game and it records. I get the whole thing in real time. Very nice for $12. iPhone, most of you have iPhones, so these are two things that might come in handy someday, just worth knowing about. iPhone configuration tool is from Apple. Phone View is from a company called Ecamm Networks. Phone View's $29, the iPhone configuration tool is free. The iPhone configuration tool, here's what it looks like. It lets you see inside your phone and look at certain files that are stored on your phone if you're interested. So for example, you can get in there and see the provisioning profiles and configuration profiles, and you've got a console that will let you, if you understand Unix and consoles, it'll let you see the actual conversation between the operating system and the phone in real time. It's interesting if you're a geek. And it's free. So no big loss, you can get that from Apple. But, and that's what the console output looks like. If you know what the console on your Mac looks like, it looks a lot the same. If you know how to decipher that, that could be helpful. I have actually found stuff in there that helped me figure out what was going wrong. Like my battery was draining in 3 hours every day. You know? I looked, and there was something that was trying to find an internet connection every 3 seconds. Yeah, it was broken, and so it would just, and then I could see the messages in here every 3 seconds, and I finally said, okay, so it's that app. So if I kill that app, or take it off my phone, the battery thing stopped. I mean, I had no other way to track it down. This was what did the trick for me. So it's a good thing to know about if you're ever having trouble with your phone, you can't get to the Apple Store. It's one of the things they look at the Apple Store. But Phone View is even cooler. Phone View lets you look at a bunch of stuff. I don't think it has a console, but what it does is it lets you see documents that are stored on your phone, and more importantly, it lets you see things like, these are my voicemails. Ever get a voicemail that you wanted to save? You can leave it in your voicemail box forever, but pretty soon if you've got more than a few, your voicemail box gets very full and it's unwieldy. This lets you pull them off your phone as audio files and save them. They're AIF files, which is uncompressed audio. And so if you get a message, it shows up with the name of the caller if they were in your phone book. You just drag and drop that to your desktop and you have an audio file of that conversation. The same goes for your messages. So you ever get like a series of messages and you want to archive it and save it? You can copy it, paste it into something else. This lets you pull out the whole message thread for as long as it went on and formats it as a conversation. You can even output to a PDF with the bubbles, if you like that. So this lets you have access to all of your past text messages, which there's no other way to access. You can look at them on your phone, you can back them up, but you can't say, I want the conversation with Joe from last year back. Might be backed up, but to get it back, you'd have to restore your whole phone. So this lets you pick and choose the pieces on your phone that you'd like to archive and save and have access to. $29. And here's what, there's a conversation. So you can see, this is messages, and those are all the people I have messages with. If I want to export any of the threads of conversations that go back for as long as I've ever talked to those people, I just, I mean...
Yeah, so it's much better for the police when they're investigating you.
That's fine. See, I don't have that privacy problem. I don't do anything that they would be interested in. It's like, I know the NSA is listening to my phone calls. They must be bored spitless.
I was going to say, they're listening.
Because if that's all they have to do. All right. But I digress. Next up are batteries. I am a firm believer that iPhone batteries are insufficient to the task. For most people, by mid-afternoon or late afternoon, if you've used your iPhone heavily all day, by the middle or late afternoon, your battery is dry, unless you have a charger on your desk or a car charger. And unfortunately, not every place I go has one or the other. There are a lot of places, like in the sky, where if you run out of juice, you're just... And so, having run out of juice way too many times, I have started using external batteries. And I don't go for the case ones like the Mophie, because I don't need the battery all the time. I only need it when I'm out of juice. So I don't need it on my phone, I need it near my phone. And so I'm a fan of external batteries that use a USB port so that you can charge anything. So this way I can charge my headset, my iPad, my iPhone, and pretty much any other electric, my speaker, my headphones, my wireless headphones, anything that's got USB. And it turns out when I travel, I have like 6 USB charging devices. I have headphones, I have speakers, I have iPad, iPhone. So I buy these kinds of batteries. This one is made by Anker, A-N-K-E-R. Don't write this down though. I'm going to tell you something. I think they're all the same inside. I've bought, you can see, there's some of them. Wait, there's some, and here's some more. I'm just addicted to batteries. I give them to my friends, I give them to my family. Everybody in my family carries a spare battery. And so, the one thing I've discovered over the years is they rate these things in milliamp hours. And so that's how many charges it will, when it's fully charged itself, how many charges it will output before it's dry and needs to be recharged. They recharge through USB just like other USB devices. So it's kind of like this is an intermediary. You charge this up and this can charge up 4 devices before it needs to be recharged again. It's got 3 USB outputs. I can charge 2 iPhones and an iPad simultaneously with this particular battery. Some of them only have 1. But here's what I've learned. They all work the same. If you need a battery that supports iPads, you want one that supports 2.1 amp output. If it's only iPhone, 1.0 amp output. Most of them have one or the other. Why did we do that? Oh, it's trying to get my mail.
Yeah.
For some reason. Why did it do? Oh, I know. It's sending me a message.
No.
No. Where was I before I was so rudely interrupted? Anyway, what I found out is they're all rated in milliamp hours, and basically they all have the same stuff inside. So, for me, I'm buying the cheapest ones I can find, which are from monoprice.com, which I'll talk about a couple slides down the road. But Monoprice, this one was $90. It's 12,000 milliamp hours. I bought a 10,000 milliamp hour battery from Monoprice for $41 or $38. So like half the price or less. And they work the same. They're just batteries. They're just lithium-ion cells in there. So, batteries, big thing. Panoramas. If you have an iPhone 4, I think 4S, 5, 5C, or 5S, you have built-in panoramas. And not only is the 5S the best camera I've had on a phone, the panoramas I've shot with my iPhone 5S are spectacular. Some of them, not all of them. But if you don't know how to do a panorama, they're amazing. They're so easy. You take your phone, you go to the camera, and you turn it to panorama by sliding your finger across the little chooser. And when it's in panorama mode, a little arrow appears on the screen. And you just aim it, press the button, and then move your hand in a circle, semicircle. The arrow will tell you if you're up too high or down too low or pointing, or you're going too fast, it'll say slow down. It completely guides you through. And when you're done, this is what the effect. So here are some of my favorite panoramas. And what I did was, that's in context. That's the whole thing at once. So here, I'm panning across a panorama, so you can just see the enormity of it. And then here's what it looks like all at once. And they're high resolution. That one's 6,000 some odd pixels wide. That's Masada. And that's a picture that I have pictures I shot without panorama, and they have nowhere near the impact of that. They're just, you can't tell how big and majestic it is.
Do they print panoramic?
You can have them printed. I had one printed on canvas for $70, and it's beautiful. It looks like a painting. It's gorgeous. You can't really print them unless you print them small. I mean, I can print them on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, but then they come out, you know, a narrow band. That is the bell tower of the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Can they be manipulated?
Absolutely. They're just big PNG or whatever, or JPEGs. So they come off your phone like a regular picture. They're just wide.
And you tried the motor device?
Yes, I have a motor device, and I just shot a 360 panorama of my office to use in my TV show. It's really fun. It's expensive for what it is, but if you need remote control, it's a remote control pan and tilt device for an iPhone. You drop your iPhone in there, and you can use a different iPhone to turn it, aim it, turn the camera on and off. And so it's like, you know, remote spy cam. All you need are 2 iPhones or an iPod Touch and an
I'm going to
iPhone.
be using it for those backgrounds in a 3D animation, that wherever the 3D camera looks, it's a world.
Pretty amazing, but I haven't reviewed it because I think it's a pretty limited use, but it's cool. A robotic remote control for your iPhone. Yes? Cyclomatic is actually an app that if you put your phone down on the table and it's a good flat surface that's solid, it'll vibrate itself in a circle and shoot 360 degrees. That's just an app that cost, I think, $2. This is a motorized device that costs $150, but it will pan 360 degrees by remote control, and it'll tilt like 90 degrees. So you can put it on a shelf and it can aim at something in the room. And then zoom in and out. It can zoom in and zoom out remotely. Pretty cool. I mean, they really have a pretty neat little thing. It was a Kickstarter project. But $150, it's probably cheaper than a remote control for a regular camera. So if you really need remote control and you've already got an iPhone, it might be the way to go. But it seems a little pricey to me for what it does. NewTek Voyager docks. Okay, so I stopped buying external hard disks a couple years ago because I found that I kept buying more and I ended up just piling them up. I had this daisy chain of 11 hard disks and I didn't need them all online at the same time, but it was easier to hook them all up than to disconnect and reconnect and stuff. And then I realized there's a better way. These Voyager docks, I bought 3 of them now. They allow you to use a raw internal hard disk, which are much less expensive, as if it were a complete external hard disk with a case. So it's a power supply and it's an interface. And you just drop the hard disks in. Those are 2.5 and 3.5. Takes either size. Whatever hard disk you've got laying around the house, you just drop it in like a tape cartridge and use it. When you're done, you pop it out and put it in a different one. So it's great for backups. It's great for anything where you don't need the storage online all the time. And now, rather than paying $150, $200 for a 2 terabyte or 3 terabyte drive, I pay $80 for a 2 terabyte naked drive and drop it in there. So I have a lot less clutter on my desk. I have a lot fewer big boxes under my desk. I have a lot less cabling. And I've saved probably $1,000 since I started doing this on enclosures and interfaces I don't need. I have one interface, one enclosure. They just drop in. There's no screws, no nothing. It's like tape cartridges. I swap them the way I would swap tapes. So I use hard disks for backing up. I send them to my friends who all have these now too. So, you know, once you've got a hard disk, it's a 1 terabyte thing that you can send through the mail. It only weighs a pound. It's like I can send that across the country. That's pretty efficient.
How do you store it?
They're on my bookshelf. They don't really need any special treatment. They say you should put them in once a year and let them read and write a couple times to make sure that the magnetic fluctuations of the earth aren't affecting them, but I basically just throw them on the shelf. You know, they're sealed. There's nothing can get in them. They're completely sealed except for the contacts. And so, you know, I don't see any reason to treat them special. I throw them all on the, I have one bookshelf with like 7 hard disks on it. I just pull the one I need, drop it in.
When you put that in,
disconnecting and reconnecting?
No, just eject them first. As long as you eject them first, it won't complain. It's easy.
when you drop it in there, that does the power supply also.
Yeah, there's a power supply inside it. And what happens is the hard disk has a set of pins on one side. You just put it inside down and it's got a little thing that slides right in.
And that does the power
and data. And here's the cool thing. So they're nice and they're great and they're really cheap. But there's 2 flavors. One flavor is USB only and it's like $34. There you go. $33 for USB only. And then if you want it with FireWire and eSATA and USB, it's $69. I think these prices have gone up since I made the slide, but only by $10 maybe. And so to me, I buy the Voyager Qs because I use eSATA on my big Mac Pro. And it's blistering fast. It's faster than $1,000 RAID that I used to have. I built one with 2 of these. And it's as fast as, you know, $1,000 4 terabyte RAID I bought a couple years ago. And I built that for like $300. So really, if you use a lot of storage or you're thinking about buying another hard disk or 2, consider this because in the future, it'll save you more money every time. So I have completely stopped buying. I haven't bought a hard disk that's in an enclosure with power supply and all that stuff in like 3 years now. This is all I buy are raw. And I buy them online and I buy the cheapest drives I can because I'm like Google. Drives are disposable. Just back everything up twice. So everything exists on 2 drives minimum, maybe 3. And when they fail, they fail. I throw them away. You know, I figure I'm going to lose 2 a year. Okay. I can live with 1 a year, 2 a year. I can live with that. The alternative is to use the higher priced, you know, enterprise rated drives, which I think is ridiculous because they cost way more and they break just as often. I don't believe they're any different. I think they just charge you. They say that they go through more inspection. All right, check this out. Action Movie FX is perhaps my very favorite iPhone. It lets you, you know, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. And if that's so, then a video is worth 1,000,000. So I made you a little video so you could see what it is. This is stuff I made in Action Movie I made this. by J.J. Abrams, Bad Robot Productions. If you're a fan of the Star Trek franchise or any of that stuff, he's quite the special effects guy. The app is free and it comes with 4 effects, and then there are about a dozen effect packs that are 99 cents for 2 more effects each. And I bought every one of them. So the free app has cost me a good 20 bucks so far, and worth every penny. As you've seen, I annihilated my whole family, and all my pets, and all the toys I could find, and I'm not near done. I'm still having fun.
We need to talk to you about anger management.
But I'm not angry.
But see,
I just like blowing stuff up.
he took off. He took off his frustration.
He's not angry anymore.
Yeah, after I blow that stuff up,
See?
I'm not angry. I'm not angry. Yeah, iPhone or iPad or, no, iPad or mobile device. Yeah. Yeah, if you get it in the iTunes, in the App Store. It's called Action Movie FX. It's just great. It's too much fun. You take it, you shoot at least 5 seconds of video of anything you want, and then you apply the special effects. And it's real easy, and it's real fun, and they look great. I mean, those are, some of those look like real special effects. Some of them are a little cheesy, but really, where else are you going to have that kind of fun for 99 cents? You know, I mean, I've got $100 plugins for Final Cut Pro that aren't that good. So, I love that. I use them all the time. I love going to places and hanging out with people like at dinner, and then blowing them up and then handing them the phone and go, if you don't stop talking about boring crap, trust me, this will happen. I have connections. I can arrange for a jet to fly into you. It's really fun. Really fun. A couple things I don't love so much. Okay, first thing I don't love is cringeworthy advertising. What is cringeworthy advertising? The best way is to just show you.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, how's it going over there, man?
It's incredible.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Have fun.
You want to see something cool?
Yeah, sure.
Here, give me your number.
Okay, it's 543.
Okay, Mr. Stalker.
677.
I'll give you a phone.
Oh, God.
Hey, pretty lady.
Hey.
It's me, Jack.
Hi, I'm Amy. Hey, Jack.
Check this out. We can do more.
See you soon, Jack. Hey, Jack.
Hey!
I'm so sorry.
Don't worry. We'll somewhere there. Okay.
Wow.
Let me get us something.
Yeah, sure.
Thought we like this now forever. Best of it's here.
Wow, impressive. Where's this music coming from? There was perfect, Jack.
Are you geared up? Samsung Galaxy Note 3 and Gear.
I am not sure what part of that is more offensive. It's like one insult after another. The guy's a stalker, he's taking pictures of her on the slopes, he's asking her for her phone number, he's talking to his wrist, he's looking up wine on his watch. I thought my head was going to explode. Not only that, that is the creepiest guy. Anyway, so let me ask you this. Did any part of that commercial make you feel warm and fuzzy? Any of it give you good feelings about Samsung? No. I watched it and I was so creeped out, I made a slide about it for you guys. So I mean, it just, I watched it and I'm like, oh, I would fire their advertising agency so quick. It's like, how clueless can you be? Women, does that not insult you, like, horribly? Okay, because I was insulted for women by watching that. Now, on the other hand, sometimes commercials can pull at your heartstrings. Sometimes you can watch a commercial and have it affect you in really positive ways. Like maybe this. Or this. There we go.
Yep.
We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race. And the human race is filled with passion. Medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. To quote from Whitman, "Oh me, oh life of the questions of these recurring, of the endless trains of the faithless, of cities filled with the foolish. What good amid these, oh me, oh life? Answer, that you are here, that life exists, and identity. The powerful play goes on, and you can contribute a verse. The powerful play goes on, and you may contribute a verse. What will your verse be?"
So, there you go. Yeah. Which agency do you want? Pretty clear to me, man. Some companies just have no idea how to do marketing. You know, they think by showing you what they think is clever repartee between a guy and a girl, that you're just going to think, oh, if I get one of those watches, I'll get sex. Right? I mean, it's the old sex sells thing, but done so horribly. Apple would never stoop to such a level. Apple does classy ads that make you feel good about being an Apple user. And they make you want to know more. Did you see any features in there? No. There wasn't a single feature. It showed people enjoying life and documenting it with their devices. You know, I guess it showed the camera and things like that, but there wasn't any, you know, here I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. In fact, you hardly even saw the devices. You saw the results. You saw what they shot. And that, just a world of difference. All right, something else I hate. Marvel Unlimited. I love Marvel comics. I grew up on Spider-Man and Flash, and you know, Flash was DC, but Spider-Man and who else was Marvel? Thor, the Hulk, Avengers, Fantastic Four, things like that. I grew up with that, and so when Marvel sent me this letter telling me all about unlimited access for $10 a month to over 15,000 classic Marvel comics, I thought, oh, this will be awesome. Now, I've read comics on my devices, and it's a pretty good way to read comics if you like comics, because the colors are vivid and, you know, bright, and everything that's transferred to digital is generally remastered, so the colors are really vivid and it looks good. And the app I use is called Comics by Comixology, and it's got this really great built-in way of looking at comics called guided viewing, and this is kind of what it looks like. I'm trying to give you a mock-up of. See, panes kind of jump around like that, so that you get the feeling. You get the feeling of a video, even though you're looking at a comic book page. See how so that's what it looks like, and I thought, that's great, I'll do it, $10 a month. So I signed up for it, and I took off for a trip. I was away for 14 days, and I thought, oh great. So you can download up to 6 issues at a time, rotating 6 issues, so you can release one and get a new one. I figured that ought to keep me busy the whole 2 weeks. You know, as soon as I finish one, I'll get a new one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, this is just some of the error messages I saw.
Failed to down.
Yes. I didn't get to read one comic for the whole 2 weeks. I had to go into the iBook store and buy other stuff to read because it never worked for 2 weeks. I did get a refund, but I'm showing you this to warn you that when Marvel tells you how great it is, it's not great. It's not. They don't use the good app. They use some app they made themselves that's crap. And of course, technically, it's even more crap. I'm sorry, Stan Lee, I love you, but I don't love your unlimited app. You're something else I really No surprise there, right? No, the reason I hate this is, what? I've gone in there. And first of all, you look in there, now in this picture, anybody in blue works there, which means you can shoot a cannon through that store and not hurt a customer. Second of all, I went there when the Surface came out to get a demo, and the guy was, what's the difference between a used car salesman and a Microsoft store salesman? The used car salesman knows when he's lying to you. This guy didn't even know what he was talking. I said, so show me Microsoft Office on this touchscreen Surface. I'm really interested in how Word works with a touchscreen. Because Word's my main axe. I thought that'd be great. I'd almost use Windows for that. Almost. Yeah, Word doesn't work with the touchscreen yet. Okay, well, what does? I'm not sure. Okay, and he goes away. Can you imagine at the Apple Store somebody saying, just wait here, I'll go find someone that knows? Everybody at the Apple Store knows, you know? They've got people who actually understand the products they're selling. These Microsoft guys were like, dumb and dumb. Now contrast that with a typical day at the Apple Store. All right, that's not a typical day. They're lined up for new iPhones, but just the same. Nobody's ever lined up outside a Microsoft store for anything, even if they gave it away free, as far as I know. So I think Microsoft stores are dumb. I grill, which was more like I didn't grill. The idea is, it is a Bluetooth-enabled wireless thermometer probe for your grill. It's got dual probes, so you can get the temperature, the ambient temperature of your oven or your grill, and an internal meat thermometer temperature, so you can get the internal temperature of what you're cooking. The two things you need to know when you're grilling. And in theory, you should be able to know them on your iPhone from 33 feet up to 33 feet away. And I thought that's great, because I grill a lot, and when I slow cook, when I cook ribs or brisket, you're talking 18 hours and you want to keep the temperature around 225. And it's critical that it doesn't get too much hotter than that or you'll wreck your meat. And so, you know, for me, it's always been I have to be around the house for the next 18 hours if I'm going to cook a brisket. No, I'm serious. You have to carve out an 18-hour day where you can be around in case. So I thought, this is great. I know in my HTV, I don't have to keep running outside, but no. I attached it to the grill as instructed. I connected it up with little cables and
no probe detected.
No probe detected. No probe detected over and over. And then the other reason I hated it was this was the only thing in the recipe store. I thought, if that's the best you can do, I'm not sure I want to trust you with my meat. So now, here's the thing. This thing's 99 bucks. It's nicely designed. The app is cute. In theory, it should be a monster. But I went to the barbecue store and bought a similar device that doesn't work with an iPhone. It's just two little transmitter and receiver, right? With two probes, two temperature probes with alarms just like this, but it was only 60 bucks and it works. So you can spend 40 more bucks for one that works with your iPhone that doesn't work, or you can go to the barbecue store and buy the one that does work that doesn't work with your iPhone. So, and they also make something called iShower, which is a $99 Bluetooth speaker for your shower. And while it works, it doesn't work much better than buying a $100 speaker and not taking it in the shower with you. Now you take a $100 speaker and put it on the counter, and it sounds better. So, yeah, don't waste your money on iGrill or iShower. Here's another thing not to spend your money on. Excuse me. And also, a lesson in how not to get your product reviewed. This is a lesson in how public relations works with big-time writers. So PR, what happens is this. I'll get a phone call or an email from a PR person. I'll say, I represent the greatest product ever made. It does this, this, and this. Would you like one? We'll try. And usually I'll say yes, you know, unless it's something really out there that I'll never use. I'll try almost anything somebody wants to send me for free if it runs on Apple hardware. So I got an email, and I've obscured the name of the sender because the poor girl, I don't think, knew what she was getting into when she sent this. She basically said, I got this great device that'll find your keys when you lose them, it'll find your phone when you lose it, it'll find your car in a parking lot, it's awesome. And it's only $70, and it'll keep your things from being stolen, and it does this, and okay, send me one. She sent me one. And, now check this out. Thanks for sending the Neotag. I won't be reviewing it, and here's why. If I just spent 70 bucks on the device, I'd be furious to discover that I have to pay again to use 6 of its 8 functions. Yes, 6 of the 8 functions in the app are, what do they call it? In-app purchase. After they got your 70 bucks for the hardware. So the functions are that great and worth so much, they should charge more for the device in the first place. This is deceitful marketing at its worst. You should know better. Sorry. So, and she didn't know. She said, really? I said, you're the PR person, you're supposed to be telling me this. How are we doing on time? See, we have 2 buttons. Yes and no.
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's keep going. We'll press the yes button. Yes. Yes. Monoprice, my favorite online store. First of all, if you ever need any cable whatsoever,
That's the place.
from the shortest, cheapest, crappiest cable to the longest, bestest, most expensive cable, Monoprice will have it. It will cost you way less than at any brick and mortar store in town, and it probably comes in 6 sizes and 12 colors. Right? So, like, what sold me on Monoprice for absolute sure, there's 2 things. I'm going to show you one. I'll tell you the other. The first was I went to Best Buy to buy a 6-foot HDMI cable. I got a new Apple TV. I needed one more cable to hook it up with everything else. So I went down. Best Buy, cheapest one they had, $49. Aren't there any cheap ones? I mean, come on, it's just a cable. They said, no, you should really buy the Monster cable for $79. It's way better. I said, can you prove that? Do you have any documentation or anything, you know? Because I got a crappy TV. It's not like, you know, I need the best gold contacts. Yeah. I've got a bridge in New York. Anybody? If you buy that gold contact stuff. Now, I agree. If you have $10,000 or more worth of audio video gear, maybe you'll notice a slight difference. But for most of us with crappy TVs and old multimedia systems, it doesn't make a difference. It's digital. If it works, right? So, $49. I went home without it. And one of my friends, from one of my podcasts I listen to, Mac ACD, my favorite podcast for geeks, They were Mac Geek Gab with Dave and John. And they were talking about this, and I said, went there. Let's look while I'm talking. Here's just some of the things they have. This was their holiday gift guide a couple years ago. Cables, cases, meters, sunglasses, keyboards, mouse pads, mics. Look at that, mouse pad, $3. Armbands for the iPhone 5, $620. 5 pairs of copper banana plugs, $6. Bluetooth Hi-Fi over-the-ear headphones with built-in microphone, red, $39. And so everything is really, really rock bottom low prices. The thing that really got me was I used to go to the stores and buy. I'm a neat freak and I like my office neat, so I used to go buy these Velcro cable racks. They're $5 for 5. I looked them up on Monoprice. They are $1.67. $1.67 for 10. But when I ordered them, it was $1.47 if you bought 20 to 40. So I bought 20 packs. I cornered the market, and it cost me less than 2 years worth of cable ties at the regular store. I've still got probably 100 left. I'm not going to run out anytime soon. I give them away to all my friends, and still I've spent way less money than I would have spent buying them at the department store. I also buy batteries from them. I buy camera equipment, like if you lose your lens cap. They sell lens caps for like $4. You know, you can go to the store and it's $20 for a lens cap from your manufacturer.
How much was the HDMI cable?
Like $8 or $12. They go from about $7 up. I bought a $12 one that was colored and striped, so I could tell it from the other ones. So with all these devices, with Macs and iPhones and iPads, and multiple Macs for a lot of people, it's impossible to remember all your passwords for every website, every store, everything you do. And so you need help. Apple's iCloud keychain is trying to do the right thing, but it's still not there, and it's awkward to use. 1Password Pro is just the best password management tool ever. Runs on all your devices, Macs, PCs, Windows, Android, iPhone, iPad, and it syncs between them. And so when you add a login and Safari on your Mac, when you're out running around on your phone, it's on 1Password on your phone. And that is crucial. If you've ever been somewhere with your phone trying to remember the password that you used for Amazon or whatever it was, you know how important this is. That's not cheap. The Mac version is, I think, $50, and the iPhone and iPad is $20. So you're in for $70, but nothing else works like this. This gives me access to all of my logins, wherever I am, on any device. And so I'm never locked out. If I need to shop somewhere, if I have a password for it, I will be able to log in without having to send them an email to myself with change the password stuff.
If you lose your phone, can anybody else?
No, because it's, first of all, it's encrypted with a password. You can't even get into the app without the password. And everything in the app is encrypted inside the app, so without the password, even if they hacked into it, they'd get garbage.
So all you got to do is remember 1Password and you're done.
And that's why they call it 1Password Pro. Yes, and then, so here's what it looks like on your Mac. It's actually a plug-in for Safari. So you just click on the little key and all of your logins come up. It also recognizes websites by their URL. So if you go to a website that you've got a login for, it'll just fill it in for you. You just click the key and pull down. And I've got 900 logins in there. And they're all, it remembers them all. It never forgets.
I have a question. I got in on 1Password right when it first came out. Of course, it was free at that time. Is there any way you can take that freebie application and put it onto your other devices?
I don't think so. I think this is already version 4, so it's been a long time, and it's worth the money. I mean, I've tried other things. I tried Row before.
Oh, I love it. It's great.
Tried something else. And this is here's the other 2 things that it does that just make it all worthwhile for me. First, it can fill out any form with all of your information, your home address, your phone number, your street, your city, your state. It's pretty good at it. And you can Yeah, there are a few that won't, but nobody can. The ones that won't is because the developer of the website actually hard-coded it to not be able to. But for most forms, it'll fill in everything. And you can save what they call identities. So I've got one for Bob LeVitus that I use for anything casual, one for Robert LeVitus if I want to pay for it, because my credit cards all say Robert. So it'll fill it out based on what I tell it, and it also stores your credit card securely and can fill in those folders. So when you get to the credit card page, it'll fill in your credit card number, the expiration date, even if it's on one of those rolling things or if it's on one of those pickers, and the 3-digit code. It'll fill them all in at once, magically. And it'll store multiple credit cards, so I can say pay with my Visa, pay with my MasterCard. They are secure also. They are not available unless you have a password to unlock one password. You can also store them with a second password if you're really paranoid.
Two questions. Does it work with other browsers on the Mac? And can you have multiple profiles? I mean, does multiple profiles include a totally different person? For example, if I want to fill out forms for my wife, can I
don't know if you have to buy. You could fill in forms for your wife. You could just create a profile for her in your account, and then you could fill stuff out with her information.
Where does the data actually live?
It lives inside. It lives inside. Actually, if you want it synced, it lives either in Dropbox or in your documents folder. And it's just one file that's encrypted.
They work on multiple machines.
Yes, I think the Mac version gives you up to whatever Apple's thing is, 5 or 10 Macs. And the iPhone and iPad, I don't think has a limit. I've got it on all my iPads, my iPhone, and my iPod Touch, and it's fine. I think you can have, apps I think is up to 10, and Mac apps is up to 5. So it'll let you have five Macs and 10 iDevices for one purchase. So you only buy it once for, you can share it with your family and stuff.
And they do have extensions for Chrome and Firefox.
I was going to say, yes, Chrome, Firefox, and I think that's it now. They used to have...
and Safari.
And Safari.
Does it address the secondary question levels, like favorite pet's name?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't do two-stage authentication, but I've heard that they're looking at whether it can be done. Because it doesn't always present itself the same way, I'm not sure that they'll ever get it, but they're aware.
They're up to 4.2 beta 11 now, and they're just, every time you turn around, there's another update. They're getting better and better and better.
Yes, it's one of those apps that if you've ever faced that dilemma where you're on the train and you're trying to order something from somewhere and you don't know your password and you don't want to wait for them to mail you your password so you can reset it. It's just, I never, ever fumble for my password. They're always all with me, no matter where I am, no matter what device is within arm's reach. At least one of them is my iPhone. So I've always got everything I'm ever going to need. That's the login screen for the Mac, for the iPhone app. And without the master password, that's as far as you get with the app. You can't see anything but that. And that's on the iPhone also, and those are the categories. So you got your logins, which is all of the, username, password combinations. Secure notes is anything that you want to save. I've got all of the serial numbers of all the software I own locked in there, so that if I'm away with my laptop, I can re-register. Credit cards are credit cards, identities are identities. You can store driver's licenses. It'll support rewards programs. I don't know how that works. And software licenses, it's got a form for them, but I put them all on one page in a secure note so they're easier to find and search.
They won't do one for hardware. I've been yelling at them. If you want to buy a DeWalt drill with the serial number, they don't have a form for that. They won't do it either. Other than that, they're great.
And it has its own built-in web browser on the iPhone and iPad because Safari doesn't support plugins on the iPhone or iPad. And so they have a web browser that supports 1Password. So you use their web browser if you need a password. And if you go to a web page in Safari on your iPhone and you decide you need 1Password, you just put OP before the HTTP, and it opens it closes the Safari browser and opens the same page in the 1Password browser so you can give in your password. So you don't have to copy and paste, you don't have to remember the URL, it's just like magic. That, by the way, works on Mac too, if you want to open 1Password for some reason. OP.
When you're generating, how are you generating the passwords for all your sites that you have in?
I let 1Password Pro choose them for me, and I tell it to do along. Yeah, they're like 30 random characters, so they're real secure. And the thing is, because I always have 1Password, I don't care if they're easy to remember. I have a couple that are easy to remember because they're the ones that I, had for forever, and like Amazon, I know what my password is for that. It's a bunch of words and some nonsense and some punctuation. But I know what it is because I used to use it so much before 1Password. I actually changed my password, so I don't think I know it anymore. But for the most part, I just let it choose, and I let it choose 30 characters.
So it will update one that you currently.
Yes, and if you go to a website that you've already got, so if I go to Facebook and change my password, it'll say, do you want to save a new login for Facebook or do you want to overwrite your old one? It's pretty smart that way. And then this is what a record looks like on the Mac. And finally, oh, we already saw these. No, I was going to say, why do I have two slides? I know, because I started this over. And finally, what's last? Yeah, so that's their browser. It looks almost exactly like Safari, and it'll fill in those things for me because I'm using the 1Password browser, not Safari. All right, even more stuff I love. 4 quick things. Yeah.
We have people who have to leave at a fixed time because of paratransit after the next special interest group.
So
I think we're out of time.
Okay. I'll just put the slide up so you can see what they were.
Quarter to what?
Quarter to 12. Really? Your SIG was supposed to have started 15 minutes ago.
And now I'm treating you to a glimpse at my new TV show. You're the first to see it. I just finished this a couple years ago.
Action Movie FX is a free app for the iPhone and other iPhones.
So you've seen my little movie about Action Movie FX.
Producer J.J.
This is my segment
Bad
from my
Robot
TV show
Production.
for everybody that didn't see my little movie.
Who make TV shows like Alias, Lost, and Fringe, and movies like Star Trek.
All right, if we're out of time, you're going to just see the same explosions and stuff.